Hi, welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion, and I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion. And today we're working on part 2 of chapter 5 of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which is chapter 3 of the book of Zion. And this is called The Lord Speaks. It begins with Isaiah 50:4 and 5, which is Zion 3:1 and 2. The Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He waketh me morning by morning. He awakeneth my ears to hear as the learned. The Lord hath opened my ears, and I was not rebellious, neither turned away back. Isaiah 50:4 and 5 opens chapter 3. These two verses explain how a prophet becomes a prophet. God opens the ears of the prophet. He is given the rare nutrient required to activate the latent telepathic gene. This act of finding the key element in telepathy is something the prophet is led to. The prophet accepts the gift of telepathy. They choose to become a prophet. Once the prophet becomes a telepath, that person is taught what is true and how to convey the words of God. They are trained to speak on the behalf of humanity. They are made into true priests who dedicate their lives to the service of both God and mankind. All prophets are priests, but only telepathic priests are true prophets. Isaiah 6:8 to 10 is Zion 3:3 to 5. I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, Here I am, send me. And he said, Lo, go, tell this people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not. See ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their eyes heavy, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and convert and be healed. The next three verses, Isaiah 8:6, 8 to 10, shows Isaiah as he volunteers. I also use these words as I in turn volunteered to be a prophet to the gray on behalf of the God of Israel. We both said, Here I am, send me. The next two verses, 9 and 10, tells us where we are to be sent. We are sent to this people. As already stated, this people are the Christians. This people, we are told, are blind and deaf. They are to be given the message, but they are unable to understand it. They are unable to hear its true meaning. This inability to understand is what is the truth is deliberate. The ancient Grey chose to keep them from understanding the truth of their very own sacred text. They are meant to believe the false doctrines that they follow blindly, lest we are told they learn to look for the nutrient for themselves and find the way to true salvation and thus prevent the creation of the true Zionite priesthood. Isaiah 44:24 and 25, Zion 3:6 and 7. Thus saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, and he that formeth thee from the wound. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, and spreadeth forth the earth itself, that frustrateth the token of the liars, and that maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backwards, and maketh their knowledge foolish. Isaiah seems to be giving us a fantastic boast of godliness, but on closer examination, these two statements from the ancient point of view are valid. The ancient humans, now ignorant of technology and soon to be left to their own devices, had already invented the all-powerful, all-knowing, false God embodied in idols. This half-truth boast allowed the Grey to address these false attributes invented by the humanity. This false image of God as a supernatural being has been carried down since ancient times. Many human many ancient idol gods remain. They remain as viable religious traditions still practiced today, and other newer forms have been added to the list. Divine beings able to do supernatural things. In order to address this issue of the false supernatural God created by the non telepathic priesthood, the Grey claim to be that very false deity, not by choice, but to prove the true nature of their claim as the gods that from the heavens came. Verse 25 tells us that this taking on of false abilities is done to end the foolish beliefs of divine godhood. The false ancient myths of God as divine are proven to be imaginary, their wisdom backwards, their diviners crazy, con artists passing down fables as truth. In order to accept the aliens as the descendants of ancient aliens, humanity must first accept that God means alien. And in order to cast doubt on the current idea of God, the Grey have mimicked the false gods. Isaiah 29:13 to 14, Zion 3:8 and 9. Wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as this people draw near unto me with their mouths, and with their lips do honor me, but remove their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Isaiah 29:13 and 14 goes on with this theme of the false religious practices. He addresses the non-telepathic priests as their followers who use the sacred text of Israel, but whose version of it is more for show than for content. We are told that these people perform lip service. They talk as if they are faithful, but their actions betray them. They claim to love God, but they reject the Grey, the true God of Israel. We are informed that these false worshippers are getting their knowledge not from telepathic communication, but by the imaginations of men. Their fear of God comes from their propaganda. Humans fear UFOs because we are taught to fear them. When the Grey refused to work with the governments of Earth, those governments turned on the Grey. They began a smear campaign to instill fear of the Grey into our population. Hollywood was instructed to create aliens bent on enslavement and genocide so that humanity would reject their alien presence. All of this, of course, was inevitable in light of the nature of our society, a society imagined by the absence of the Grey, a necessary evil. This necessary evil is the result of our ancestors' imagination. They invented the concept of God that led to our current worldview. And this is where we will end chapter 5, part 2 of the Pot Smoker's Bible and the Book of Zion. See you next time.